A very good afternoon to all our viewers. Thanks for tuning in to NDTV. You're watching the Southern View. For the next half hour, me and my colleagues from the 5 southern states will take you through all the stories that matter down south. Now, first up, we have some breaking news coming in. This is from Karnataka. The sensational Dharmasthala probe, of course, is going on. The SIT is investigating. But today, here at NDTV, we have a sensational interview with a woman named Sujata who had cried conspiracy. She had made some startling claims of her daughter that went missing in Dharmasthala. She had said that the people in Dharmasthala, the administration is involved. She had said that it needs to be investigated. She was walking in and out of the police station and making several statements about a daughter that never was. Today, NDTV has spoken to her where she breaks down. She's in tears and says she does not have a daughter. She was coerced into saying that she had a daughter named Ananya. She even cries and says she wants to apologize. She wants to go to Dharmasthala now and seek forgiveness as people made her do this. She was used by people who have now discarded her, she says, in an emotional appeal. Let's listen to this chat that we had earlier. You know, at NDTV, many people in the country are watching, people across the world are watching because this was a very sensational case. So, coming from you, if you today want to reveal the truth through our medium, you can, madam.
ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಅದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ನವರು ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿತ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಮಟ್ಟಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತು ಜಯಂತ್ ಟಿ ಅವರು ಬಂದರು ಮನೆಗೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೇನು ಬೇಕು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು.
ಯಾವ ಥರ ಸಹಾಯ ಅಂದ್ರೆ?
ಅದೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು.
ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆನಾ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ
ಬಗ್ಗೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ಅನನ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದರು. ನಾನು ಬಂದು ಹೋದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ನನ್ನ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ನಾನಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ.
But today, for our viewers, because ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಪುನಃ ಹಿಂದೆ ಜರುಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, you've gone back on your own words, you've multiple statements have come. Today, can the viewers who are watching this believe everything that you've said?
ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಈಗ ಲೈಫ್ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನನಗೆ ಲೈಫಿಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾನು ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಒಂದು ಹೊತ್ತು ಊಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ರು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸಬೇಕು. ಯಾರೂ ನನಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರಿವಾಗ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸದ್ದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಬೇಡದಿಗಿರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವತ್ತು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾರೂ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾನು ಯಾರು ಸಹವಾಸಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸೋದೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ನಿಮಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತಾ ಇವತ್ತು that you shouldn't have probably listened to some people who you say coerced you into saying things? ನಿಮಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತಾ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ?
ಇವಾಗ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋದೆ ಅಂತ. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಕೋಪ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಯಾರು ಸಹಾಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನೇ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ತುಂಬ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಸಾಯ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ನನಗೆ ಉಳಿದಿರೋದು ಇನ್ನು ಒಂದೇ ದಾರಿ. ಯಾರು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದೊಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ತಪ್ಪಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ಸಾಯ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ವಾರ ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ನನ್ನ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಯಶ್ಚಿತ್ತ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ವೀರೇಂದ್ರ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರ ಕಾಲಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಯಾಚಿಸಿ, ದೇವರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಯಾಚಿಸಿ ದೇವರಲ್ಲೇನು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಬಂದು ನನ್ನ ಸಾವನ್ನು ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಕೊನೆಯ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನನಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ನನಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ತೇಜೋವಧೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನನಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ.
Well, that was the woman who had claimed conspiracy, now says she will go to Dharmasthala, seek forgiveness and apologize. How the investigation continues, we'll of course keep a close track. Meanwhile, there's more news from Karnataka. There is of course an ongoing debate time and again if there is going to be a change in leadership. The debate of course is ignited by statements of MLAs and ministers in the state of Karnataka, while the Chief Minister very recently of course clarified that he will continue to be in power for the next remainder of this term of 5 years. The Deputy Chief Minister had also issued notices to those who are making statements that there will be a leadership change, especially batting for him to become the Chief Minister. Now, in the latest senior leader, Home Minister, in fact, G. Parameshwar has said that the focus in Karnataka for anyone should be to really deal with the flood situation in North Karnataka and the other issues that are plaguing southern Karnataka, especially the city of Bengaluru. He says the focus should be on development and work and not leadership change. Let's listen to what he said.
ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗಾಗಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಉಪಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು ಅವರು ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರವಾಹ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಈ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿವೆ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಅನೇಕ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿದಾವೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಹರಿಸತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ, ಆದ್ಯತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕೇ ವಿನಃ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಅದು ಇದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Well, my colleague Ritu also joins us on the broadcast. Ritu, how, interesting that Mr. G. Parmeshwar here is saying, well, think about Bangalore, it has a lot of issues. Think about the floods, don't think about leadership. Is this a snub to any of the leaders or any of the, MLAs who've been making statements?
Well, Deepak, you see, we've been seeing how that the ministers in the CM's cabinet happens to be divided as well on this particular matter, because we've been seeing one of the other ministers coming out and stating that there would not be any cabinet reshuffle and stuff, or for that matter, there won't be any change in the CM's face as well. But we've been seeing there's another set of MLAs as well, or the leaders from the Congress party coming out and saying that they would want DK Shivakumar to become this chief minister, or for that matter, Siddaramaiah to continue as the CM. Now, amid all this, you have G. Parmeshwar in a fit of anger that he can be seen telling this out, that there is no need of discussing these kind of matters right now in the state. Well, there are various issues that needs to be spoken on that. There should be a detailed discussion that needs to be taking place. Why should we be discussing this particular matter when it's already closed, and then when the High Command has made it clear, and as well as the CM and Deputy CM has made it clear about this?
Right, Ritu, stay with us. In fact, we have more news coming in from Bengaluru. This time again, it is a woman who has alleged that there was an auto driver, an Uber auto driver, who misbehaved with her, especially because she asked him to drop her to a particular location. It was late in the night, but he refused and started to abuse her, yell at her as well. But however, she refused to actually go ahead and file an official complaint. The cops have reached out to her, is what she confirms through her social media handles. My colleague Ritu has more information. Ritu, behavior of auto drivers, overcharging, she's speaking quite rudely. This is a big problem in the city of Bengaluru. Somewhere needs to be addressed either by the aggregators or the government, isn't it?
Yet another incident that has come to the light here in Bengaluru, where we see in the visuals that we can see how that this particular passenger is telling the driver very softly that she needs to be stopped at the location that exactly that she has put on her application. But however, you see the driver goes on to starts arguing with the passenger, and therefore that's the reason that she says, because it's dark as well that we can see in the visuals, that's the reason she requests him, saying that she needs to be dropped to that exact location where she has put in. But yes, on that fit of anger that we can see, the driver also starts yelling back at her. Now what particularly the social media influencer from the Kerala is in fact alleging that there was also some sort of an assault that she had to undergo because of the driver's behavior. Therefore, later we did see that the police getting in contact with the influencer, but she however refused to file an official complaint. Now we do understand that the Uber has officially apologized for this particular incident, and they have also promised her that there would be an action that would be taken against this driver. But yes, action once or twice, but all these kind of issues needs a permanent solution to the kind of behavior of the drivers that comes to the fore. That's something that is questionable.
Yes, Ritu, let's also now listen into what the woman had to say about the entire incident and accountability that she feels is required in such incidents.
അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ 2 ദിവസം മുന്നേ ഒരു ഊബറിന്റെ ഇഷ്യൂ ആയിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട ഒരു വീഡിയോ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ ബാക്കിയായിട്ട് കുറെ പേര് കമന്റ്സിലും എനിക്ക് ഇൻബോക്സിലൊക്കെ മെസ്സേജ് അയക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഊബറിനെ ഒരുപാട് പേര് ടാഗ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ ഊബർ എന്തെങ്കിലും ആക്ഷൻ എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ, എന്താണ് അപ്ഡേറ്റ്സ് എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചിട്ട് ഒരുപാട് പേര് മെസ്സേജ് അയക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. സോ അതിനൊരു ക്ലാരിഫിക്കേഷൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഇപ്പൊ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു വീഡിയോ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇൻസിഡന്റ് നടന്നതിന്റെ അന്ന് എന്റെ റൂമിലെത്തിയിട്ട് ഞാൻ ആദ്യം ചെയ്തത് ഊബർ ആപ്പിൽ കംപ്ലൈന്റ് ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിനുശേഷമാണ് ഞാൻ വീഡിയോ ഒക്കെ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. വീഡിയോ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തത് കൊണ്ടാണോ എന്നൊന്നും എനിക്കറിയില്ല. ആ സെയിം ഡേ തന്നെ എനിക്ക് ഊബറിന്ന് റിപ്ലൈ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്, സൈറ്റിലെ റിപ്ലൈ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ എനിക്ക് ഇൻസ്റ്റാഗ്രാമിൽ റിപ്ലൈ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. പിറ്റേന്ന് മോർണിംഗ് തന്നെ എനിക്ക് അവരുടെ അടുത്തുനിന്ന് കോളും വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ അവരോട് സംസാരിച്ചു, ഉണ്ടായ ഇൻസിഡന്റ് കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് സംസാരിച്ചു, ഞാൻ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് ഒക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുത്തു. ഞാൻ അവർ കുറെ അപ്പോളജൈസ് ചെയ്തു. പക്ഷെ അവർ അപ്പോളജൈസ് ചെയ്തത് കൊണ്ട് മാത്രമായില്ല. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു ഇതിനെതിരെ സ്ട്രിക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആക്ഷൻ എടുക്കണമെന്ന്. ആൻഡ് ദേ പ്രോമിസ്, ഉറപ്പായിട്ടും അവർ ഇതൊന്ന് ബ്രീഫ് ചെയ്ത ശേഷം ഉറപ്പായിട്ടും ആക്ഷൻ എടുക്കും എന്നുള്ളതാണ്.
So well, that was the woman, of course, narrating what exactly had transpired. Now, Uber on their part have said that they've taken the matter very seriously. They've also confirmed that there'll be action that will be taken against him. The woman, of course, on her part says that she didn't want the driver to be jailed, and that's why she didn't go ahead and file an official complaint with the police. We'll, of course, keep a track of everything that's happening around this case and other, matters too here in the state of Karnataka. Meanwhile, let's now move on to the state of Tamil Nadu, where my colleague Vijay, I believe, has some information about the Karur tragedy and much more. Vijay, over to you.
Thank you, Deepak. Actor turned politician Vijay spoke with the Karur victims' family through video call. After almost 10 days, from yesterday evening, actor turned politician Vijay started to speak with the victims' families through video call. He also ensured that he will be visiting Karur very soon. For more details, we have Sam Daniel with us to speak on this. Sam, how we have to see this? Because Vijay had to visit the Karur, but he started to reach the victims' family through video call.
Thank you, Vijay. This comes at a time there is mounting criticism that actor Vijay, number one, did not stop and visit families or the hospital where the injured were taken at that point in time on the day of the tragedy, or has he bothered to visit them in person over the last 10 days. And now Vijay has begun that exercise. He is still not ready to visit in person because of possible permission is used from the police or on the ground repercussions. And at least 3 families have confirmed that actor Vijay spoke to them over video call this morning and some last night. And they say the conversation lasted between 2 and 5 minutes. Vijay consoled the families about the loss of their dear ones and has assured them that he will visit them in person quite soon. And he also shared how much he has been shattered after this terrible tragedy. TVK teams are on the ground. We understand at least these victims' families are spread over at least across 4 districts in Tamil Nadu, and we can expect this exercise to continue over the next few days. This also comes amid strong observations, Vijay, made by the Madras High Court recently that Vijay did not bother to visit the hospital after the tragedy. And Vijay, of course, had explained that the situation was tense at that point in time and he did not want to contribute to any further untoward incident at that point in time, and that's why he said he had avoided that. And now, in terms of investigation, 2 arrests have been made. A special investigation team has been constituted following an order by the Madras High Court under Inspector General of Police Asra Garg. And police are on the lookout for 2 more functionaries after they arrested 2 district functionaries. These include the General Secretary of TVK, Bussi Anand, who we understand might move the Supreme Court for bail after the Madras High Court had denied his anticipatory bail plea. And police, of course, alleged that the stampede was largely caused by the TVK organizers themselves. They refused to listen to the police, and there was a terrible delay on the part of Vijay up to 7 hours to reach that particular spot where he was expected around 12 o'clock, but he came around 7 in the evening. By then, large crowds had surged, and Vijay or his party, the police allege, had used the surging crowds to display the political strength of the party, something the TVK has denied, and they put the blame squarely on the police, saying there was not adequate forces deployed and it was the police's failure to control crowd that had led to large crowds following Vijay, leading to that kind of a delay. Vijay?
Thank you, Sam, for those details. Even after the Karur's tragedy, there is no end for political debate, war of words between ruling DMK government and BJP and ADMK. With MNM chief Kamal Hassan visited Karur yesterday, where he said that TVK is more responsible than state government. He said all are responsible, but the organizers of the event has more responsible for the tragedy. He also mentioned that he also criticized TVK and even he said one shouldn't do politics in this incident. But BJP gave counter to this, saying that Kamal Hassan just following what Chief Minister is asking him to do. That's what Kamal Hassan is doing, as he got Rajya Sabha seat from DMK, so he lost its credibility to speak more on this. So let's listen into the reaction what Kamal Hassan and BJP leaders and DMK reacted over this.
Look at it as a tragedy. Look at it as responsibility shirked. Don't keep blaming somebody else. Everybody has a responsibility, especially the organizers. It's gone wrong. It's time to apologize. It's time to accept your mistakes. And this is time to talk less because it's sub judice. They are working on it. Let's help the government do their duty. Let's, if not impede, at least let's thank him for being there on time. If they had permitted in the places selected, the life loss would have been more. We'll be grateful for the lesser number of life loss. And let's not look at it as 18, 12, 11 as numbers. This is a family. This is people. This is children. Grandchildren are lost. Everybody should be safe. If you cross an expressway, you do it at your own risk. So be careful.
Tamilaga Vettri has sold his soul long time back for one Rajya Sabha seat. Post that, whatever Tamilaga Vettri speaks, people of Tamil Nadu, they are not going to give him that attention, or they are not going to take him seriously. Let him speak whatever he wants. He has got every right to go and talk. But going to Karur and saying the administration is not at fault, who will accept it? DMK is so afraid that it wants to keep sending new people every day to keep changing the attention. Now DMK's new weapon is, please send Tamilaga Vettri. Tamilaga Vettri is a fine actor, no doubt about that. With respect to politics, whatever he speaks, we all know it is one-sided. That too, he wants to favor DMK. That too, he wants to favor DMK on issue like Karur also. When all of us know the DMK government is at fault.
As far as the Karur stampede is concerned, from the first day, the government, the DMK and the alliance partners have said only one thing, that the administration, the government, the police has done the best beyond its capacity to do arrangements for the Karur visit of the TVK leader Vijay. But however, people from the opposition, the anti-DMK political front, is always accused. After visiting, Kamal Hassan has categorically said the same thing what the DMK, the government and the administration have been saying.
There was a strong criticism from BJP leader Annamalai towards Kamal Hassan. We have Sam Daniel to speak more on this. Sam, how one has to understand this war of words between Kamal Hassan and BJP? BJP and ADMK backs TVK over this, and DMK and its alliance partners criticize TVK over the Karur tragedy. How one has to understand this, Sam?
Vijay, even as police investigation is underway, even as the special investigation team and the government appointed one-member inquiry commission is investigating, the larger picture is this issue is also turning political, more so in the run-up to the 2026 assembly elections. And Kamal Hassan, although he began his political party against the ruling DMK and the other Dravidian party, the AIADMK, over the last couple of years, just before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, he patched up with the DMK because he says the need of the hour is to fight the BJP together. And his statement now is in that context, that he says the police have done their duty, but for the police's earlier rejection of the earlier sites, the TVK had asked the casualty number could be much higher. And he says the Chief Minister has displayed exemplary leadership, and the police alone should not be blamed, he says. And of course, on expected lines, the BJP has taken on him, saying he has sold his soul. And now, in the run-up to the 2026 assembly elections, any negative comments by MNM chief Kamal Hassan could be seen as causing damage to the ruling DMK. That's why he's very, very cautious. But all eyes would be on what ultimately police investigation and the one-member judicial probe will ultimately find to fix accountability, to find out what went wrong, and more importantly, the formation or framing of guidelines or protocol for public rallies like this, which one would hope that would prevent recurrence of this kind of tragedies. But at the moment, political parties are also politicizing this issue ahead of the elections. Vijay.
Thank you, Sam. That's all we have from Tamil Nadu. Moving on to neighboring state, Telangana. We have Huma Sudhir from Hyderabad with more news. Uma, over to you.
Thank you, Vijay. Waqf properties have been in the news for the wrong reasons in the recent past. This time, the Congress government in Telangana has faced embarrassment, presumably, after having declared about 2,500 gaj or square yards of what is being called as Waqf property for a graveyard just on the eve of Jubilee Hills by-election here in Hyderabad on the 11th of November. But now the military, in fact, within a few hours of the government's own declaration, has come and claimed that as disputed land. I spoke a short while ago to BRS Working President KT Ramarao, who says the Congress is desperate and then making these announcements in a hurry only to be red-faced later. Let's listen in. So on the eve of Bipole being announced for Jubilee Hills constituency, the Congress government had in fact allotted 2,500 square yards of land for a graveyard, which the military came and claimed as their own. I have with me BRS Working President Mr. KT Ramarao. Your party is now alleging that the Congress has not been honest in its intentions?
The Congress is never honest with any of its intentions or any of its actions. If you see what has been happening in Jubilee Hills, as a desperate measure to garner some support and garner some sympathy for their candidate, they have in a very hurried manner allocated about 2,500 square yards of land. Unfortunately, again, without even thinking through the consequences. So what has happened as a result is, now the defense people have showed up, the army people have showed up, the cantonment people. They're claiming that it's their land, and as a result now the government is left with egg on its face. You have to think through whatever actions you take as a government. See, therefore, in the past when we were in government in Telangana in 2022, we had allocated a land of almost 125 acres in the adjoining districts of Rangareddy, Vikarabad and Medchal, purely because Hyderabad is run out of land, for graveyards and for cemeteries. Unfortunately, there was not enough land inside. So outside, within the ORR, we had allocated 125 acres of land altogether for minorities, 44 acres to Christians and the remaining to Muslims is what the allocation was. And this was all government land. Now today the Congress in the last ditch, a desperate measure, tried to do something which of course didn't work, I guess.
In this case, of course, it was Waqf board and they claim that they have the gazette which specifies that this land belongs to them.
Well, Waqf properties in Hyderabad and elsewhere in the country have always been contested, have always been debated by same, within the same government by various arms. For example, there was a very contentious issue again in Hyderabad itself, the Hussaini Shawali Dargah lands also. The government's two arms were fighting each other. Revenue department was fighting the Waqf board. So these sort of things, have to be thought through. Like I said, there are the courts of law in the country. There is the judiciary ultimately which gets to decide whose land it is, or a joint survey if the government is really keen and clear. But otherwise, you will continue to run into these sort of issues, which is not fair, especially in the run-up as a desperate measure to an election.
Early this morning, in fact, we visited the site at Sheikhpet, Rahmat Nagar, under the Jubilee Hills constituency itself, where people are quite disappointed about the government fulfilling a so-called promise and subsequently that promise landing in trouble. Let's take a look at this report. On the eve of elections being announced for the Jubilee Hills Bipole here in Hyderabad, a controversy with the military coming in and actually claiming that the land that has been allotted by the Congress government for a graveyard in the Sheikhpet area as part of the Jubilee Hills constituency is actually defense land. So this is something that's come up just now yesterday after the defense authorities, military authorities came here and made a claim that all this land behind actually belongs to them. The locals saying that there has been always an old graveyard, and when it is about 40 to 50 years old, the tradition tradition has been that in order, because there is pressure on land and therefore the old graveyard with a kind of a diktat from the local mosques and all that, they can convert it again into a new land. And now all this area with this vegetation being put up in order to block the land, because many people would go inside and use this as for an area for open defecation as well. And that area that was being cleared, that is what was chopped by the defense authorities, claiming that the land belongs to them. I spoke to the Waqf Board chairperson Azmatullah, who in fact said that according to the Waqf Gazette, 1 acre and 5 guntas actually belongs to them, and that 2,500 gaj that has been given, or square feet that's been given, also belongs to Waqf. But of course military making a contrary claim, and therefore he said now they would be going with their documents, revenue authorities, the Tehsildar and the Waqf representative, to go and settle this, resolve this issue, so that the long pending demand of the locals can be fulfilled. I have with me a local person. Sir, यहाँ पे जो डिमांड रखी गई थी, एक तरफ तो दिया और एक ही दिन में वो कंट्रोवर्सी हो गई
जी। पहले से ही चल रहा था, ऑलरेडी ओल्ड खबरस्तान है ना, कि प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बल्कि वो हिसाब में पब्लिक जो है लोकल जाके मिनिस्टर साहब को बहरहाल जो भी है उसमें लीगलाइज करके ही काम करेंगे बोल के वक्फ बोर्ड में एरिया एमएलए से तुरो, और जो है मिनिस्टर साहब जो भी मिनिस्टर थे, मिनिस्टर को बोल के करके ही उसको काम करवाए, पूरों को ला के, वो लोग आने के बाद ही काम हुआ, उन लोगों की तुरंत काम हुआ। वो काम होने के बाद थोड़ी देर के बाद मिलिट्री आके काम रुकवा दी। हाँ, पब्लिक में खुशी की लहर थी, वो अब ज़रा वो है कशीदगी, और क्या भाई हमारे पुराने खबरों की लाइन को रुका दिए क्या बोल के, ऐसा लोग जो है सोच रहे समझो, और कुछ भी नहीं है।
Now we go across to Ashwin, my colleague in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, where he brings us a stunning twist in the gold that has gone missing at Sabarimala. Ashwin, tell us the details.
Thank you, Uma. In fact, what is most shocking is the fact that the court document has revealed that the so-called sponsor, Unikrishnan Poti, in fact sent a letter to the Travancore Devasam Board requesting that the excess gold that was there after the plating was done, can it be used for solemnizing a wedding of a girl? Now, this letter was sent on December 9th, 2019, and a week later, the TDB secretary sent a note asking what should be done with the excess gold that is there, that is remaining after the plating. So this has put eyes on the government once again and the TDB, and the questions have been raised on how the administration is being handled in Sabarimala. The court has also questioned the way the things have been carried out in Sabarimala, and therefore there is a lot of political reactions on it. Let's first hear the political reaction that has come from Thiruvananthapuram MP Shashi Karur.
Look, I think everybody in Kerala realizes there is something really fishy about what's going on. The allegations are literally many kilos of gold seem to have been siphoned off, and this is a very serious charge. I'm glad that there is now a High Court monitored SIT investigation led by a senior policeman. But the fact is the entire public is going to be very concerned. We have been hearing some very shocking details about what seems to have happened. And it's not just a new issue, and it's not just one person on whom everyone is trying to pin the blame. It seems to be a systematic problem which has gone on for some years under the present government. And I think accountability is a must.
നല്ല ഒരു സുശക്തമായ അന്വേഷണ ടീമിനെ വയ്ക്കുകയും ചെയ്തു. അതിനെ ഹൃദയപൂർവ്വം ദേവസ്വം ബോർഡ് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. ഇതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട എല്ലാ വിവാദങ്ങളും ഈ അന്വേഷണ സമിതിയുടെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ അന്വേഷിക്കട്ടെ, കാര്യങ്ങൾ പുറത്തു വരട്ടെ. ഏത് ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥനായാലും, എത്ര വലിയ ഉന്നത ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥനായാലും, ആരായാലും ഭഗവാന്റെ ഒരു തരി പൊന്നെങ്കിലും സ്വത്തെങ്കിലും കട്ടുപോയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ശിക്ഷിക്കപ്പെടണം, നിയമത്തിന്റെ മുന്നിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരണം.
That's all we have from the state of Kerala. I'm now tossing on to Deepak Gokarna, my colleague from Bangalore. Deepak, over to you.
Well, Ashwin, thanking once again you and all my colleagues Uma, Sam, Vijay and Ritu for joining us on the Southern View today. That's all we have as far as news is concerned. But before we wrap things up, I caught up with actor-director Rishabh Shetty on his latest movie Kantara Chapter 1. Let's listen to what he had to say. लगता है कि जो आप फोकलोर लाना चाह रहे हैं, जो रिचुअल्स दिखा रहे हैं, दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ इंटीग्रल पार्ट आई वुड से ऑफ कोस्टल कर्नाटका. इन अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ कर्नाटका सिमिलर रिचुअल्स हैं लेकिन लिटिल डिफरेंट
दूसरे तरीके से.
लेकिन जब आप वेस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री जाते हो, ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री जाते हो, नॉर्दर्न पार्ट, उनको बहुत अनफेमिलियर लगता होगा ये जो रिचुअल्स है. हाउ डिड यू ट्राई टू soften it a little bit or dramatize it a little bit so that people understand? उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए.
भारत का एक बहुत अच्छी बात है कि आप हर कोने जाओ, हर गांव जाओ, हमारा यही तरीके का कुछ अलग जो रिचुअल्स हो, कल्चर हो, ट्रेडिशन हो, जो बिलीफ सिस्टम हो, ये आपको मिलेगा. एंड द ग्रेट थिंग इज दैट इज सुपर इंटरेस्टिंग वो एलिमेंट है. हमारा जो फोक में जो हम सुन के आए हैं, जो हमारे पूर्वजों ने बोला है हमको, हमारा जो कहानी में, नाटक में, यक्षगाना हो एंड बहुत सारे इसमें जो हमको मिलता है, दे आर सुपर इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. एंड वो है जो बिलीवर्स को एक होगा, नॉन बिलीवर्स को एक होगा, डेफिनेटली वो कुछ होगा. सो वो मैं मानता हूँ, क्योंकि आप वेस्टर्न कंट्री जाओ, उधर भी वही कुछ अलग चीज़ होगा. कि मैं लास्ट टाइम में मैं बोला था आपको, पोस्ट कांतारा रिलीज में सियाटल गया था, उधर का सेनेट ने बोला है मुझे, दिस इज आवर स्टोरी ओनली करके बोल रहे हो. मैं सोचा अभी अमेरिका को, कांतारा को क्या कहूँ, वो कुंदापुर, मंगलोर, उडुपी का एंड अमेरिका का क्या है करके. तो वो लोग बोल रहे थे दैट नेटिव अमेरिकन एंड द लॉ मेकर्स के बीच जो हो संघर्ष, वो जो बहुत कनेक्टेड है हमको, इट्स अ सिमिलर कहानी है हमारा. तो वो करके वो बोल रहे थे. तो हर कोने में है, हर घर, हर रीजन में मिलेगा आपको. मतलब दुनिया में हर जगह जाओ, उधर आप थोड़ा कोर गया तो आपको मिलेगा कुछ.
The reason that I wanted to ask you this, Rishabh, is India is a sensitive country when it comes to religion.
Yes.
आप जब एक भगवान के बारे में एक मूवी बना रहे हो, बहुत सारे प्रश्न उठते हैं.
हाँ.
Because at the end of the day, it is a revenue generating model. A movie. Your ultimate aim is to ensure that you get paid, your artists get paid.
Yeah.
So how do you keep that balance to ensure that you don't hurt the sentiments and
because
you ensure
I believe
that
in it. I believe in it. I belongs to that. It's my own thing. It's how can I do that? I want to मेक फिल्म्स. हमारा जो फोकलोर है, हमारा जो परंपरा है, उसके बारे में करना है मुझे. सो आई एम ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लोर सच थिंग्स. सो आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट कि एज मच एज पॉसिबल टू एज अ फिल्म मेकर, एज अ स्टोरी टेलर, आई वांट टू टेक सम पॉजिटिव स्टोरीज टू द ऑडियंस. सो कि कुछ समय क्या होता है ना, मतलब लास्ट टाइम भी वो प्रश्न उठाया था, गवर्नमेंट ऐसा नहीं करेगा, जो डिपार्टमेंट्स ऐसा ये नहीं हेल्प नहीं करेगा, जो लोग को जो फिल्म में दिखा रहे करके. अरे यार, नहीं किया तो अभी जो दिखा है ना, करने दो. ऐसा है तो अच्छा है.